Good evening. So today is day 8 of 25-day mental health awareness challenge that I took on. And as you probably know by now, I was nominated by my friend Victoria Lawrence. Reverend Lawrence herself was nominated on the challenge by our own friend Antonia Justin. And so over the last 7 days, today being the 8th, I've been sharing tips on achieving optimal mental health and improving your mental health for possibly those who have mental health problems and also for those who don't. So today I'm now on letter F of the alphabet. That's letter F. And briefly this evening, I will be sharing some thoughts on faith and mental health. And I want to start off by saying that this video is for purpose of information. I'm speaking from my experience as a psychiatrist and from what I know from what the evidence shows about faith and mental health. So it's really it's for public health information, and I think that needs to be taken very seriously. Right. So what do we know about faith and mental health? There's a growing body of research that actually shows that faith is good for mental health. Quite a number of research out there that actually shows that for several reasons that faith and spiritual practices, religious practices, actually support a healthy mental well-being, a healthy state of mental well-being for several reasons. One of them, for instance, is the fact that there is a sense of cohesiveness, there is a sense of support, and there is a sense um, of caring for one another in faith communities. And the faith community that I have a personal experience of is the Christian faith. Like I've said in these videos, that I'm a Christian. Um, and so that's one of the things that people find. For instance, there's also a piece of research that shows that church attendance has been associated with less risk of depression, and that in fact belief in a transient being, in this case for me, that's belief in God, has been associated with also less depressive symptoms. There are other reasons why we do think that faith actually is positive to mental health. One of them is also that the positive emotions or the positive values that are taught for instance, in Christianity, in terms of love, forgiveness, in terms of compassion, in terms of patience, in terms of kindness, that those qualities actually have a positive impact on the nervous system. I know that that's quite interesting. That actually those positive emotions have a positive impact on the state and the way the nervous system of human beings operates. So it's quite some very interesting, some of those findings. And today I think the main crux of the matter for me is really that if you are out there tonight and you've got somebody in your social circle who is suffering from a mental problem or a mental health condition, I think the message I want to give out there is that your support could actually make a world of difference for them. There's so much research out there as well showing that social support is a very crucial thing. So I think that's really the crux of the matter, that um, the fact that you care about people, that you send them text messages, that you support them by just showing your compassion towards them, by loving on them, by caring for them, doing practical things to um, show that you have them in mind, could actually be life saving. It could actually make a world of difference, and it could help them in their recovery journey. Um, Going back to research on faith and mental health, it cuts across board for different mental health conditions, and the recurring evidence is that actually there is a positive outcome. That one in terms of recovery, that it's quicker and easier for people who have a spiritual belief or who have a faith, and that people in faith communities as well, because of the support that they do have a better outcome. So really, the important thing is to really be aware of our social responsibilities. I think that that's really the big thing for me. Tomorrow, as we know, is the World Suicide Prevention Day, and I've said that I'm going to be sharing a video on that tomorrow. But really, the crux of that matter, the essence of all the bedrock of suicide prevention is really to be our brother's keeper, to be our sister's keeper, to really be out there to support people. And one of the, I said that in a previous video as well, that one of the strongest things that you can give to people who have a mental health condition is to give them the gift of hope. And I would like to end with a story that I had. That this is a true life story, actually. A few months ago, just before the lockdown, I went for a conference up in London. There were quite a lot of psychiatric colleagues, in the room. And one of the speakers, who is a psychiatrist herself, gave a personal experience of how she battled with postnatal depression, and how during that period somebody who had previously been a boss but had then become a treating psychiatrist. So it was one senior psychiatrist treating another psychiatric colleague, both of them consultants. And she said that during that period when she was experiencing depression and she was really at her lowest ebb, that this senior colleague, who had then become a mentor and then a personal friend, had sort of been the custodian of her hope that things were going to be okay. And she said at the time when she didn't have the ability to hold her own hope, that there was light at the end of the tunnel, that this older gentleman held her hope for her. And at the time when she was mentally strong enough to then take her hope back, he then gave it back to her, and that she feels very grateful. The interesting thing was both of them were in the room, which was really, I think for me, it nearly brought tears to my eyes to just see that type of powerful exchange in the room. And I suppose the essence of that story really is that we can also be custodians of hope for other people at a time when they are going through their deepest and bleakest, their deepest period of need and their bleakest periods. We can be the custodian of their hopes. We can be the message of hope to them, that I'm going to hold your hand and I know that this is going to be okay. And I do know that that's something that we can very easily offer. That's something that doesn't cost us a thing. So if you've got somebody in your life today who has a mental challenge, please be the custodian of their hope. Please hold on to their hope for them until they get to the place where they emerge out of their tunnel. And also, do also remember that faith is actually a positive thing for mental health. So I'm looking forward to being with you again tomorrow, and particularly thank you for sharing these videos. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for getting the conversation going, and have a good night.